When I designed this setup, I had a few things in mind. I don't exactly like spending lots of time in front of a screen, so I wanted the setup to be simple, efficient, and for it to be a setup that encourages focused work with minimal distractions. I wasn't trying to build anything crazy, I just wanted it to have all the basic tools I need for everything I do. So for the display, it's a 27-inch 4K display with a matte finish that I got from a site called Taobao. It's mostly white, and as you can see, has fairly thin bezels. It does have a bit of a white chin, but over time I had no problem getting used to it. It gets fairly bright and dim, so I can use it in the dark without being blinded. The contrast ratio and the color accuracy comes pretty close to my MacBook Air display, which I think most people will find to be an industry standard. It does come with a fairly sturdy stand that can go up and down and around, but well, I almost never use it vertically. The settings and brightness and stuff are controlled by a few physical buttons, and finally it connects to and charges my computer via a USB-C to C cable, which brings us to my M1 MacBook Air.
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah.
I might make a video later talking about this device in detail, but so far after using it for a good few months, I can confidently say that it is really good for a thin and light laptop to a point where I can comfortably use it as a desktop in clamshell mode when I'm at home. It is the silver model with 512GB of storage and 8GB of unified memory. I did upgrade it to the 8-core GPU version since I do quite a lot of video editing. It does have Touch ID, but since I have it in clamshell mode behind the monitor, I can't exactly utilize it when I'm at my desk. The performance of this thing is great. Launching most apps take very little time, especially the stock apps like Notes, Calendar, and Safari. Final Cut Pro is also incredibly snappy. Rendering and exporting speeds are much faster than my old Intel Mac. Something I really like is that I can finally choose the better quality preview when I'm editing without seeing any dropped frames. Oh, also the battery is straight up first class, but obviously it doesn't really matter in this scenario because it's docked and plugged in. Moving on to the mouse, keyboard, and trackpad. I'm not exactly a keyboard enthusiast, so what I did was pick up the cheapest keyboard online that has matching colors and works with the Mac. I don't have anything to say about this keyboard except that it's a keyboard with a USB connector and it works. The mouse I mostly use is a simple cheap white mouse with wireless charging capabilities, so I can just drop it on a wireless charger when it's low on juice. Once again, nothing special here, it just works. In addition to the mouse, I do have a Magic Trackpad, which is quite extra, but I am just way too familiar with the trackpad gestures, and scrolling is simply a lot smoother and faster on a trackpad. Oh right, I also have a wrist rest because comfort. When it comes to audio, I have 3 options to choose from. The HomePod Mini, a pair of IEMs, and a little speaker with a headphone jack that's sticking out of it. I usually use the HomePod Mini for things like music listening or watching videos on YouTube or something, but I can't really use it for stuff like video editing because of the delay. It has a pretty bad delay, which is just a huge shame because it sounds very good, and it also works well with the Mac. My in-ear monitors are from a brand called KZ, and they cost almost nothing for something that sounds this good. I have watched so many reviews by audiophiles about this brand, and most agree that the price to value ratio is pretty insane. This thing fits my ears well, has an onboard microphone on the cable, and the cable is easily detachable, so I don't have to replace the entire thing if just the cable or the earbuds break. Now let's talk about this tiny speaker, because it's kinda cute and weird at the same time. Alright, to be fair, I don't use this tiny speaker a lot, but when I'm doing things that require zero delay audio like video editing or phone calls, and I just happen to want to use a speaker, I can just plug this in and it's positioned right below the display, which is perfect. The sound is, well, fine. It sounds better than the MacBook speakers when the Mac is in clamshell mode because obviously they do get quite muffled when it's closed up, and I'm just not a huge fan of that. This tiny speaker does distort quite a bit when it's on higher volumes, but I'm not using this thing for sound design, you know? This thing is just like a convenience tool. It's not really essential, but I guess it's a nice to have for when I need it, like twice a day. Right, the monitor does not come with a webcam, so I picked up one of the cheapest ones I could find. Because despite being a bit of a video nerd, I couldn't care less about how I look in the occasional video call or Zoom meeting. Actually, I'm not even gonna spend that much time talking about this because it sucks, and the only good thing about this is that it has a built-in microphone which, well, sounds like this. I don't really care. when I actually want a high quality video call, I'll just use my phone as a webcam with apps like Camo or something like that. I think it's quite obvious that I like to spend the bare minimum for certain things. And finally, for lighting and decor, I have a lamp, some plants, and an hourglass. The lamp is from Xiaomi, and I think I've seen a lot of clean desk setup videos feature this thing, probably because of the clean design and the smart home capabilities. These plants are fake and they are from IKEA, and well, they distract me from all the cables that have nowhere to go. The hourglass is just there for short timers and well, because it looks nice. Oh, I also have a small thermometer that shows me the temperature and humidity. Once again, very extra, but it's a nice to have. Occasionally, I like to introduce my iPad into this setup, which can act as a controller for the Mac with an app called Alfred, where you can launch apps, control the MacBook's volume, and do all sorts of other things. On the other hand, I can control my iPad with the peripherals that are connected to my MacBook because of a feature called Universal Control. Universal Control is very fun to use, and it's probably my new favorite feature from iPadOS / macOS. Alright, despite how useful this iPad is, it's usually not here. Because the iPad is very fun to use and I get distracted very easily, which is also why I don't have a phone stand on the desk. And that's pretty much it for this whole thing. It's really nothing crazy, but it works for me. I hope this gives you maybe some inspiration for your own setup or something like that. Do let me know if you have any suggestions, and well, consider subscribing. Have a great day.